What's up, YouTube? This is Joe from TeamDeathMeta giving you a very exciting deck list today. The reason this is exciting is because we haven't had any news about ever getting this stuff into the TCG, and it just kind of like came out of nowhere in Dimension of Chaos, which also makes sense why it should be in Dimension of Chaos, because we got quite a good few stuff from that set in general without imports included. And so this is a deck that's now been splurging around on the internet, on other YouTubers' channels, on web pages, because it was a hyped for deck. I'm quite surprised it was a hyped for deck. I thought it'd just be one of those anime decks that just like, some people cared about it, some people didn't. But no, quite a lot of people were actually excited for this deck, including myself. And so I'm really happy to share this to you with you guys. You all know that even though I do Dev Pro videos for the moment, for the far moment, I only profile decks that I have built in IRL, and only that. And this one will be getting an exception to that rule that I have set for myself. Because I will be posting an OCG version after this, quite shortly after. I'm actually going to film it after I've done this one, just so you can see the differences in the builds that I would play if we had what we have with now, which is still amazing, and what we could have. So this is what you can see, a DD deck or a DDD deck. The focus, as you can see, I've tried to be as consistent as possible to fit all forms of extra deck summoning. I feel like that is the theme of the deck. That's always been the theme of the deck. Being able to do pretty much every summon in the game, excluding ritual, and not only do that, or not only do them, perform them, but perform them consistently. You'll see the difference in the OCG build. You can do it much easier, much faster, and you'll have a much more variety in the synchro department and what you can play. But for now, this is what I've made. The tests I've done are very consistent and very strong. It spurges out more OTK potential with the synchros that you can come out with, and it can do more protection with the synchros that you can come out with. But I will go through the deck profile and explain choices and explain what some of them do very briefly, because I don't want this video to be too long. So starting off with the Pendulum lineup, we have DD, Savant, Galley. We mostly use this, well, I mostly use this because it's a scale 1. So if you want to go bold, you can go scale 1, scale 10, do tons of pendulum stuff. But other than that, it's here for the DD name, and the effect can be useful to ditch it and bounce a card back if you feel like you're going to kill yourself and with your contracts. You can just quickly ditch this, bounce it back to your hand, and so you won't get the burn damage. So this is what. So I won one of him. He's not really too useful, and he will be replaced once we get the more DD stuff in near future from the structure deck, which I will get to you when I post that video up. Next we have triple DD Servant Kepler. He is your searcher for your searcher and your fusion and your traps. He searches out all your dark contracts when he's normal or special summoned. Level 1, so you can't pendulum summon him ever really, but you're not really ever going to. You mostly use this as either the searching, or when you get the play work, use him as a Xyz material for most of the time for your DDD Wave King Caesar. So he's a great card. You don't really use the other effect to target DD card you control and return it to the hand. So you mostly just use him, and we always use him to search. The other stuff is optional. Next we have triple DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. He is your essentially constant monster reborn. It took me a while to get used to the pendulum effect, but once I started playing with the pendulum effect only, he just opens up so many plays. The downside is that you do force them to take half the damage that you would normally do, but even then, you're summoning out like 3 over 2,500 point monsters in a turn, and every time you summon a DD, you just get back another DD. So you just go into plays. So the half damage is not only fair, but it's pretty much avoidable. You can avoid it in the sense that you'll be doing so much damage that it doesn't look like they're taking. But yeah. The other cost to using it is that you take 1,000 points of damage, but in combo with this guy later on, that 1,000 points of damage is nothing. In fact, you will love to see that 1,000 points of damage. Its monster effect is also amazing. When it's normal special summon, you can target triple D in your grave, special summon it, and then you can use that once per turn, and also once per turn you contribute DD monster and target monster your opponent controls and banish it. Banishing has always been, in my opinion, the best form of removal, other than bouncing. Destruction is rarely loved anymore, and it's completely understandable. A lot of things either avoid destruction or love being destroyed. So having this guy to being able to just banish them outright of the game, depending which deck you're playing off against, it can be very detrimental. So we won triple with him. And then we won triple D Rebel King Leonidas. He's essentially your burn, cancellation, and field swarmer. If the pendulum effect, when you take damage, accept damage step, you can destroy it, and then any effect damage is turns into life point gain instead. And then its monster effect, if you take damage, accept damage step, you can special summon it, regain the life points you just took, and then while it's on the field, you take no damage from effect. So he's just really good. 2,600 point beat stick as well. Level 7, so you can go into your rank 7 plays, or when he goes to your help rank 8 plays. So we won triple him because he's just too good. Then that's the pendulum lineup. We have now our effect monster lineup, which is double D Baphomet. He's essentially he's just your Xyz plays. Whenever you go into Xyz, he's involved, because he can make any DD except Bahamut a level between 1 and 8. So you can essentially slap any Xyz number in your extra deck, because Bahamut just allows you to go into all of them. The ones that you go into the most are rank 4s. He's also got the sorry about that, guys. The ruling that you can only go into DDs for the rest of the turn. So you mostly go into your Wave King Caesar, which I still love anyway, and I think that's the best play. So we won triple him. Next we have probably the one of the best cards in the deck, to be honest. DD Swirl Slime. He's essentially a one-turn fusion play, which is just absolutely amazing. If it's in your hand, you can fusion summon a triple D by sending him and a material from your hand to the grave, and then its other effect, you can then banish it and then special summon a DD from your hand. So him in conjunction with Bahamut and any other 2 DDs equals a fusion and an Xyz, which is just absolutely amazing. And I'll go through that combo at the end of the video, just briefly, quickly. And then for the rest of the DD main deck lineup, we had 2 DD Necro Slime. He's also a 1-card fusion play, but from the graveyard. If you want to fusion summon a triple D in your extra deck, you can banish him and a material from the graveyard and fusion summon that fusion. So the best combo is using Swirl Slime with Necro Slime, because then you essentially get 2 fusions in one turn for essentially nothing, which is just absolutely amazing. So that's the DD lineup. The rest of the lineup is 2 Effect Veiler for effect negation and 1 Glow Up Bulb. Now Glow Up Bulb was the newly addition to the deck. As my first ever build was pretty much this build, except no Glow Up Bulb. I can't remember. I think it was 2 Galley instead, and I used Effect Veiler as my tuner. And as I talked to a friend of mine and that kind of stuff, he said you shouldn't really. No one uses Effect Veiler for the tuner thing. It says a nice option, but you'd never really tend to go for it. And I agreed with him. It is true. You never really use Effect Veiler for a tuner unless you're playing Junked Up when you bring it back with Junk Synchro. So then I played the deck without synchros, and I pretty much tried to master the deck without it. And I really missed the synchros, because as I mentioned before, the theme of the deck overall is to be able to do every extra deck summon. So I thought, well, what can I put in? I had an idea of putting the Draco Slayer tuner, but then I found out that the synchro needs a pendulum, and the only thing I was planning to use it with was Bahamut, which I can't do. So I thought, right, what else? And so I remember someone mentioning Glow Up Bulb, and I thought, well, Glow Up Bulb would be good. It could work. We have a lot of level 7s. Level 7s is probably the most splashable level on the field that the deck can make. So I put it in, tried it out, and it's amazing. Glow Up Bulb opens up so much plays, in the sense that it gives you an extra target for 1/1, that's actually really good. It gives you an extra target for Bale, which is really good. And then you can just generally normal summon it, and then you have its effect to be used later on. Which is just so good. The level 7s and the DDs are easily replenishable in the deck. You can easily bring them back for things like Abyss Ragnarok, which is the one that you mostly use. And overall, if you use the fusion, you can easily refuse that back, and because we play 3 of it, it's just always good. So Glow Up Bulb is an amazing tech choice that I've been playing with, and I feel like other people should try it out. It's just such a good card for this deck. In the future it will obviously be taken out, but at the moment it's amazing. Though I might actually, now thinking about it, I might still keep it in. I might playtest a bit more. So that's the monster line. We have 21 monsters, all consistent, all great monsters. For the spells, we have 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. It's essentially your rotor every turn. Walling everyone. You can only play. You can only search out once a turn with this card. I misread it the first time I ever played it, and I was playing like 2, 3 of them, and then just go, right, I will search for days. But no, that was a mistake I made, and I'm saying it to you now so you don't make the mistake. But all the contracts have the effect where during your standby phase you take 1,000 points of damage, which is nothing to the deck, as you will see later on, but we've also previously seen with Leonidas. But yeah, during your main phase you can add a DD monster from your deck to your hand. Another warning, everyone, triple Ds count as double Ds, but double Ds don't count as triple Ds, just to say. Because if a card says add 1 double D monster, because a triple D monster still contains 2 DDs, it counts as one of the options you can add. But if something counts, for example, as Ragnarok, requires only brings back triple Ds, you can't bring back, let's say, Swirl Slime, because Swirl Slime doesn't have 3 Ds in its name. So that's a warning for everyone. So we play through this great card. You search it off Kepler, and you essentially get 2 searches a turn, thinning your deck out, which is just amazing. Next we have 2 Dark Contract with the Swamp King. This is essentially your continuous fusion polymerization every turn. You can special summon. You can fusion summon 1 theme type fusion from your extra deck using monsters on your hand or field as materials. But if the monster you're going to play is a DD monster, you can then banish stuff from the graveyard for that summon as well. So this is an amazing fusion spell. This is also a in conjunction support for evil heroes if you're an evil hero player, just to throw that out, guys. And it's an amazing fusion spell. I only played 2, but I side decked the 3rd for reasons which I'll get to later. Next we have, for the rest of the spells, 1 for 1, search out your Kepler and your Glow Up Bulb, and maybe Necro Slime, but you mostly search out your Kepler or Glow Up Bulb. Foolish Burial to send Necro Slime or Glow Up Bulb to the graveyard, or anything else for a play that you're planning. Allure of Darkness, because everything other than Fit Better and Glow Up Bulb are darks, so it's a great draw power. Then we have Soul Charge for broken revival plays, Raigeki to blow up the field, Book of Moon as a way to get over stuff, 2 MST because we don't like back row. Then for the traps we have Triple D Contract Change. Now this is also another great card for the deck. It's a search card whenever your opponent declares an attack. You can either banish the Triple D from your graveyard and the attacking monster loses attack equal attack, banish monster attack. That's one we never really use. We barely ever use that card. I've never used that effect as far as I know. What I do use it for is to add 1 level 4 lower DD Pendulum from your deck to your hand. Now this is essentially extra Dark Contract when we need it, and then we search out Kepler, which then searches that Dark Contract, and we just get adding for days really. So I like 2 Contract Change. I don't see myself taking it out, though this would be the card that I would take out for any of my side deck cards. So we main this to make our deck consistent in general, but then depending on the matchup we then use this to make our matchup better by taking it out. So it's all good. Then we have Dark Contract with the Witch, again the 1000 point standby phase. But what it does is during your opponent's turn in general, all fiend type monsters you control gain 1000 attack. Now this helps greatly with Kepler because sometimes you'll summon your Kepler to get the search and he'll stay on the field. So being able to just make him 1000 during your opponent's turn minimizes the damage that you'll be taking if they attack. But also the great part of the effect is that you can ditch a DD or Dark Contract from your hand to the graveyard to then target card field and destroy it. So it's a continuous popping once per turn, which is just an absolutely amazing card. I love playing this at 2. I could see myself playing this at 3, but I haven't tested 3, so 2 is still good. And then we have 2 Grand Horn of Heaven. I love this trap, and I'm kind of liking it a lot more than Solemn Warning. The fact that one thing that I don't have to do is pay the life point cost to just generally negate a special summon and destroy, which I really like. I do love Solemn Warning. I've gotten used to 2000 life point cost. I generally just see it as null and void, but if I can avoid paying 2000 life points to negate a summon, I will do it greatly. And the fact that this negates monsters or monsters means that if they pendulum summon, you can negate it and destroy it. And then the part of the effect that I love the most is that it ends their main phase. So if their main phase 1, they go straight to the battle phase, and it just messes up their whole turn altogether. So if they're planning to attack you that turn with whatever they're trying to play, they're not, because you've stopped it, you've ended their main phase, and they have to go to main phase 2 if they even want to try and replenish their turn. So you avoided the battle phase, you avoided some damage, you avoided your monsters being killed in battle if they could. And so that's just what I love about this card. I really love it. Plus it's a common, so all you budget players, and I'm still budget at heart, this is a great substitute for Solemn Warning if you can't get any from that Synchron Structure deck. Trying to buy those separately, I think it's like £2.50, which some budget players I have seen, and I do have some friends that still find £2.50 for like a common to be a bit over excessive, especially if it's just one. So great Grand Horn of Heaven, you can get play sets for like 99p for £1.50 or something like that. And it's a generally around great negation card. The letting your opponents draw one card, I feel like had to be on this effect in one way, shape, or form, because just stopping the summon and then skipping the main phase 1 or 2 would just be way too powerful, without some form of giving my opponents something in return. And letting them draw one card, we've seen that on cards before. Dark Bribe is still a really good card, and that kind of thing. So I'm loving Grand Horn of Heaven. I will have Warning in the side deck probably. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's the main deck, people. For the extra deck is very short and very triple D Oracle King Dark. Just requires 2Ds, 2 double D monsters, and then this is what makes the deck amazing. Any effect damage you would any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that life instead. So now you see all the contracts that would inflict 1,000 damage to you now increase you by 1,000. And then as well with Abyss Ragnarok, if you use this effect, and then you would gain 1,000 for reviving something. And then this card, also being a 2800, so it's really strong. Just missing the 3,000 point mark that I like to set. Is just absolutely amazing. You always go into this card. You go to this card turn 1 if you can. You go to this. Whenever you can play this card, you play this card. It's the easiest card to summon at the moment. In the OCG build, you'll see I would also be summoning quite a lot. So we play triple that, level 7 as well, so this helps us go into our level 7 plays and go to our level 8 synchro plays. Then we have triple D Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok. Absolutely amazing card. Whenever it requires 2 triple D monsters, so you summon this card out less. I would say rarely, but I do tend to summon this card at least once per duel. And so we play this card. Its effect is that when it is in when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target one other monster your opponent controls, then return 1 DD or Dark Contract to your hand, and then equip the monster that's not the one battling you to this card, and then you gain that monster's attack. So essentially it just gets over anything. If your opponent has 2 monsters, this card can get over any monster that it wants to. So this is an amazing card, 3200 attack, just all around. It's probably the strongest monster you have, excluding Triple D Duro King Kali Yuga. This card I rarely ever summon just because I rarely go into rank 8 plays. So we play this essentially just fill out space in the extra deck, and if we ever can, we play it. It involves 2 level 8 DD monsters, so the only way you're really going to be playing this is with Abyss Ragnarok and maybe Preferment, but then to do Preferment you need at least 3 monsters on the field, so yeah. When it succeeds summon for the rest of the turn, other cards and effects cannot be activated on the field. So it's essential, and then once per turn, during each player's turn, you attach a material, destroy all spell traps on the field, and you can attach another material to target one Dark Contract spell card trapped in your graveyard and set it. So it's essentially the Heavy Storm and the OTK bringer of the deck. So it's a really strong card, it's a really amazing card, but I still play one in the deck, but you rarely summon it, so yeah. Then we have Triple D Wave King Caesar, and this is the Xyz that you'll be playing all the time, in every game, and it's essentially your safety wall. It requires 2 level 4 fiends, and during either player's turn, you can attach Xyz material, and then all monsters that are destroyed this turn at the end of the battle phase return to the field, and then during your standby phase you take 1,000 points of damage for each monster special summon by this effect. Which is nothing, because whenever you play this card you will have this card out, because then this is your safety wall. This is your best play in my opinion, and the play that you'll not only aim to do but is easiest to pull off. It essentially means I take no effect damage and I avoid nearly every destruction in the game. So this is why I love Wave King Caesar, and so I play it 2, and I would play it 3 probably as well, and I think I did once. And then also the other thing is when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a dark contract from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it's not only a safety wall for battle and destruction in general, but it also searches out your dark contracts, which then searches out more monsters or buffs you up and pops things or adds more things. It's just absolutely amazing. Fusion, you know. It's an amazing card, great card. You'll be playing this no matter which build you're playing. And then for the rest of the extra deck, we have 1 Dark Rebellion, 1 Castell, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, 1 Red Ice Flare Metal, 1 Fellground. So that's all your rest of the Exceeds. Then we have for Synchros 1 Scrap Dragon to pop off not only cards that we don't need, so like our Dark Contracts, and then popping off or Servant Kepler, and then destroying things the opponent controls. And then Stardust Spark Dragon to protect what we need, so we can protect Oracle King Dark, we can protect Contract, you know, all that kind of stuff. So these are the 2 synchros that I picked because I thought they were most versatile with the deck and helps the deck better. I did have Hot Red in here, but that was purely just because I love Red Dragon Archfiend, and so that was it. But then I took it out for Spark Dragon, and Spark Dragon just felt more useful. And then here's the extra deck. This is stuff that I will have in the extra deck no matter what. 3rd Dark Contract, because one deck that I'm preparing to have my extra deck prepped for is Psy-Frames, and Psy-Frames can be stopped with Mind Drain. Mind Drain's the drain card that negates hand effects. So I have a 3rd copy of Dark Contract, because if I side in the Mind Drain, then I side in the 3rd Contract and take out a Swirl Slime, because Swirl Slime's effect then kind of becomes dead. Or I could take out Leonidas, and so then I can still play my fusion plays quite consistently because I had the 3rd Contract in the deck. This contract stops, it's essentially a trap stun / will decree every turn as long as you have a DD on the field. So it's an amazing trap card. This is for like Chain Burn or any trap heavy decks. Then the viruses is what is an amazing thing about this deck. You can play every virus in the game because you have a fiend of and a dark monster of essentially every attack point radius. So we have monsters with over 2000 attack very easily. So we can play these 2 traps, and then we can play the normal virus trap, because we have Kepler, which is 0. So we can play nearly every virus trap in the game, which then makes this card a very good anti-meta deck. Because if you're facing off against something like MM or Magi Spectres, Deck Devastation just kills that deck quite well. You can even side in 2, which I'll probably be doing. Just stops them every turn, gets rid of their stuff, they go to the graveyard, so it's going to be harder for them to replenish and Pendulum Summon. It's a great card. And then Eradicator just stops any spells and traps of which you declare, and just helps get rid of problematic cards. And then Breakthrough Scale, because Psy-Frames. So this is the deck, people. Hope you enjoyed it. I apologise if this is a very long video. There's a lot of stuff I had to explain, because whenever I deck profile a new deck on my channel that I haven't done before, I briefly explain it as fast as I can. So again, hope you enjoyed it. There will be an OCG version of this build coming up very time soon after this video is uploaded, because I want to profile both, because I really love this deck. It's on equal wavelength to Galaxies as my top favourite deck, and I will be playing this to the end of time because it's just an amazing, really fun deck. So very budget as well. The only thing that will penny you is the extra deck, and that's all up to you. You don't need to play these cards at all. So that's that. So again, hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all guys in the next video. Bye bye.